My name is Cathie Adams, and I'm president of the Texas Eagle Forum. Thank you, Chairman Corona, for the opportunity to address your committee regarding the issue of tolling Texas roads. Texas Eagle Forum is concerned that the 2005 House Bill 3588 that allows Texas roads to be sold to private investors is not a good investment for taxpayers. According to a Goldman Sachs presentation to the Texas Transportation Forum entitled "You Bet Your Assets," leveraging existing infrastructure, roads that are now owned by Texas taxpayers, a taxpayer asset, can be sold into public-private partnerships. Such P3 deals make the state a simple board member, while taxpayers who own the assets are cut out of the negotiations. Our only recourse is through our legislators. We are seeking the legislature's help to prevent these public-private partnerships from stealing our assets. Fiscal conservatism is a pay-as-you-go system, which is why Texans have two road-building funds, the State Highway Fund and the Texas Mobility Fund. In 2005, those funds were pilfered by the legislature, and we hope that you will fix that in 2007. The February 23, 2007 State Auditor's Report regarding TxDOT and the Trans-Texas Corridor made it clear that because there are too many unforeseen variables, the financial information presented by those who want to buy and sell our taxpayer-owned infrastructure was not correct. No one has made a good case for the sale of the Texas taxpayer-owned infrastructure. The two examples of cash flow of the Chicago Skyway of 61 times its original cost and the Indiana Toll Road of 39 times its original cost is not a model we want to follow. If taxpayers had retained their infrastructure asset in either of those projects, then their tolls, which are taxes, would have been used to build and maintain the roads instead of allowing taxpayers to be swindled in order for the P3 to make 39 to 61 times their investment. The public-private partnership model means that taxpayers not only lose their original infrastructure asset, but it sets them up to be gouged by continually increasing tolls in order to guarantee the new owners a sizable profit. The Texas Transportation Code allows the appointed politician, the Transportation Commissioner, to negotiate toll rates with a private company who is given the right to collect them. We don't want that in Texas. The public-private partnership transactions are expected to be refinanced rather than paid down. But what will that eventually cost taxpayers? In closing, my sincere hope is that the Texas legislature will remember the independent spirit as proclaimed in the TxDOT logo. Don't mess with Texas. Taxpayers will be happier if you reclaim their infrastructure assets rather than sell their assets to the highest bidder who can then bilk them to drive on Texas roads. Thank you.
Ms. Adams, if you'll stand opponent, Senator Chapman would like to ask you a question.
Oh, sorry. I think we are all here because we want to do what's right by the state of Texas, and we represent the state we love. And we all want to be able to go from one place to the other. And the fact is, you got money to pay for about 1 in 3 of these projects. So I want to hear from you what taxes you support to build these projects.
Well, I think that one of the bills that has been filed by Senator Corona would deal with the tax issue. And I also think that the two highway funds that we've mentioned that have been pilfered need to be recaptured and
those highway funds are funded
designated
from general revenue that comes from taxes. So what taxes do you support on the record to pay for?
Well, it sounds to me like you might have a tax in mind for such a purpose, but I think that what you're hearing from the testimonies before me is very clearly that people are questioning the need for this corridor altogether. I do think that there are needs for infrastructure, and that point has also been made, and I think that a pay-as-you-go system can be accommodated, and I trust that y'all will be very faithful with our tax dollars in developing such a plan.
I don't think I heard an answer.
I think, Senator, and please, I don't mean to speak for our speaker, but I think you were referring to the bill regarding indexing of the fuel tax.
Yes.
Is that the bill that you indicated you were supportive of?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I heard.
I guess the point is this. I've been in meetings like this all over Texas. If you go to North Texas, congestion, the inability to get from one place to the other, there's hundreds of people that come to the meetings. In Austin, Texas, you got the same issues. I happen to be from El Paso, Texas. In fact, I got into politics from a big lawsuit where I filed a suit against TxDOT. That's another story. But what I want to hear from you is this. When you sit down and look at the needs of the state that's growing as we're growing, and you look at how many dollars that we have in the system, it comes down to where are you going to get the dollars to build the roads? And I want to hear from you what taxes you support to build the roads. The tax that he's got is a gasoline tax. That's that bill. It's to index it and raise the tax on gasoline to pay for highways. Are you on record as supporting that bill?
Yes. I think that the pay-as-you-go system is the conservative approach, and I believe that that is what Senator Corona is trying to do. And furthermore, I think that building within that infrastructure is going to be, and that tax infrastructure is going to be adequate for our state. If you look at the bigger plan with all of this, I'm talking with our Eagle leader in Oklahoma, and they don't know anything about a road that is going to be meeting them, that it is of this massive plan that is supposed to go all the way up to Duluth, Minnesota. So I think that we as Texans are setting a model for the entire nation. We have a responsibility to live within our means. That is our tradition. We also have a very strong independent spirit, as the TxDOT says. Don't mess with taxes.
Okay, let me get a point across. I'm in the 4th largest city in Texas, and we don't even have a loop yet. There've been loops in Dallas for 40 years, Houston for 45 years. Lubbock had a loop in 1974. To build our loop, $2 billion. We'd like to have one because we got 70,000 troops coming out past Texas. So my question, and I ask a lot of people this question, if you concede that we need to have some money to do basic infrastructure, which I think we all do in this room, where are we going to get the money to build it? And I'm assuming your answer is that you support a gas tax. Is that right? You support increasing the gas tax.
We have a gas tax, and I think that Senator Corona is at least the only person that I have heard who is offering some idea of, rather than selling our infrastructure, of how we can pay for these. But that doesn't mean that you build every loop that every town wants in our state. We've got to live within our means. And we've got to prioritize.
I like to have a loop. Now, I like to speak for my own people. We'd like to have a loop. We'd like to have a loop in the year 2007. So,
Well,
I'm
being
going
on
to
this
take your
committee, I think you're
testimony
in the
here
loop.
is that you are in favor of increasing the gas tax. Can I take that when I go talk to folks?
I think I've answered that question so many times.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, thank you, Mr. Corona.
Thank you, Ms. Adams.